I'd like you to imagine something. You're in the market for a top-spec excavator. None of your cheap rubbish either. This is an investment, a statement of intent. You're buying this baby for the long term. You look at all the main manufacturers, you weigh up all the individual models they offer, and you specify your chosen machine with a veritable shopping basket of optional extras. By the time you're done, you've spent £500,000 simply to get that machine delivered. And that's when the money really starts to rack up. Your sexy new machine will be working in some pretty tough conditions. So first and foremost, you need to insure it. That insurance is expensive, more expensive than it was last year, and that was more expensive than the year before that. But you can't risk it. So you grudgingly pay the money to safeguard your precious new machine. Of course, this being 2025, your machine still requires fuel and lubricants, both of which are A, expensive, and B, subject to major price fluctuations. But a machine without fuel is basically a big paperweight, so you bite the bullet once more and you fill it with fuel. Time and time and time again. You want your machine to be available at a moment's notice, so while Dave in the yard is quite handy with a set of spanners, you invest in a repair and maintenance contract with your local dealer. Every new hose, every new filter, and every new wiper blade is a genuine part. You know you're paying through the nose, but it's no less than your new machine deserves. Besides, there's that all-important resale value to worry about. Over the course of your machine's life, you'll spend more on fuel than you did on the piece of equipment. You'll pay for services and repairs. There'll be replacement parts and possibly new additions along the way. And then, when that machine has been hard at work for, say, 5 years, you might consider getting it remanufactured. That remanufacture will be less expensive than an entirely new machine, but it won't be cheap either. Your machine initially cost you £500,000, but by the time you move it onto someone else, it's cost you what? £1 million? £2 million? More? Now consider this. Let's say you have an employee and you're paying them 35 grand a year. They're loyal to you and you're loyal to them. As a result, they stick around for the next 30 years. Over the course of their career with you, they will cost you somewhere in the region of £1 million. Like your shiny new machine, that worker will be required to operate in some pretty tough conditions. So you give them the cheapest hard hat you can find and a flimsy high-vis vest. The boots you're offering are also cheap. So cheap, in fact, that they're uncomfortable. So your worker buys his or her own. Your worker is also insured, but mainly to ensure that your arse is covered should they hurt themselves in the workplace. Like your machine, these workers need fuel. But it's not really your problem. In fact, you're not that bothered whether they're fueled or not, or if the fuel they choose is of poor quality and likely to clog up their hoses. As for lubricants, you're hoping they're lubricated with nothing stronger than water or coffee, but you dare not check just in case. We can't afford to send them home, even if they have had a pint or 4 at lunchtime. Unlike your fancy new machine, your worker is not regularly maintained. In fact, while your machine is parked up from time to time, sent back to the depot or to the dealer for a thorough once-over, no time for such things with workers. They're expected to be on site 5, 6, maybe even 7 days a week. They don't get checked over. In fact, they don't have time to be checked over. They're too busy working. They get no replacement parts, no upgrades, aside from a new high-vis vest that you grudgingly provide when the old one has fallen apart. There's no resale value either. In fact, while your machine is removed from the fleet when it's clocked up 5, 6 or 7 years, hard graft, your worker will quite possibly work 6 times longer than that. They will see your shiny new machine come and go. They'll see its replacement come and go. And then they'll see another 3 or 4 times before they too are packed off to the construction scrap heap. I don't want to labour the point, but you'll spend as much on a decent worker as you will on a machine. And yet, while that machine is lavished with tending care, that worker is often seen as a necessary evil, an operating cost, expendable. Have we not got our priorities a bit wrong here?